Welcome everyone to Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy. I'm Tormented by Gnomes, your game master, and joining me for her solo expedition is Lemon Kiwi. How you doing today?
Good. Kind of nervous for the episode, but it's fine. It'll be fine.
You know what might help? Regards. There we go.
Huh?
The cat was on the screen for a moment while I moved her from
Shit,
my desk. That was all.
all.
It's fine.
Meow, 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 meow. Back at you.
Exactly. So let's just get right the hell back into it. We don't have to do the rounds today. When last we left Garnet Tosaka, her mentor, Master Elnau, had communed with Seosh without checking in with Garnet, which, you know, the book that lets her commune with Seosh was hers first, and Garnet has kind of co-opted it. So regardless, she worked around Garnet to commune with Seosh and learned how to make a mask, these powerful void masks that the elite followers or students of Seosh seem to use. Both Garnet and Elnau have learned how to create these. And they're down in the vaults where precious metals are being kept. But aside from creating this mask to enhance their own power and make them stronger in the face of the Infernals and other threats that threaten their home, Garnet has a very important mission. Even now, the armies...
No war crimes.
No war crimes. Maybe one. Garnet can have one war crime.
Yay.
The Solar Empire of Brontha, her home nation, is preparing to go to war against the dragon tribe Bothotlo over a series of conflicts that have occurred over the last several years. Garnet and the Academy know that these conflicts were precipitated by the Infernals, who have been plotting to wreak havoc in this area and destroy IOTH Academy for centuries. Can she, their former blessed child, persuade the leaders of Brontha to chill the fuck out? We will find out.
What if I want to do a little bit of killing?
That's a great thing about this. It's a totally free game, so you can do whatever you need to do. Actually open world smile. All right. Creating the mask is not a thing that is going to be done overnight. Working powerful magic takes time. Crafting things takes time. Elnau has only gotten as far as selecting several bars of sky steel harvested from the cloud mountains of the Sky Kingdom as the material for her mask. She knows the theory, it's been encoded into her mind, but actually crafting it, imbuing it with the power of the void, and attuning it to herself, it's going to take a while. Same with you. Have you picked out any materials for yours?
Oh yeah, I forgot to do all that research.
You were focusing
Homework
on
not complete.
like diplomacy stuff, so it's fine if you're distracted. And you can always go back to this vault with Elnau to pick something out. So maybe you just take a look around right now and see what's there, because nothing speaks to you just yet. That's fine. All right, master and student leave the vaults and make their way back up to the rest of the school. Elnau will tell you that Untermaler has departed with Mason and Santisco to Bothotlo to try to broker peace. Athalor and the Sage are traveling to Onderud in order to ameliorate Athalor's father and try to keep them from intervening in a negative way, get them on your side to help you against Diffraxis. And it falls to you and Elnau to travel to Brontha to try to get them to stop fighting so that the Infernals can't take advantage of the chaos. And you're going to need to leave soon. Untermaler was busy before he traveled making arrangements and establishing official diplomatic contact with each of these different nations with sending spells, receiving permission to travel there, notifying them of what escorts are going to be along with them, etc. So you have a few hours to ready yourself for the journey. Whatever preparations you feel that you need to make them. I will come for you when the time is here.
Okay. I think first preparation is to request Elnau any kind of anti-mirror clone equipment, if she can work on gathering that. And then I'll pack my shit, which will involve probably putting together some like transcripts. I'm sure like I have a copy of my grades and shit, you know.
I mean, you even know where the student records are.
Oh yeah, so I'll just quickly go get my transcript and have a few copies of that, copies of my theses. I don't think I had any sussy ones, right? Not that I don't think I wrote an infernal. If I had an infernal thesis, I'm definitely
because you took.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did that class. You did the one of those classes, and you wrote about the Infernals.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think I'll figure it out if they're sus about it. But bring in everything, and then when she's kind of packed up like a briefcase or all this paperwork shit, a folder, she'll go stop by Ruby's place, Ruby's room, because she would not want to go without her ring. So she's gonna go and get that. So we'll polite knock at Ruby's door.
Okay, let me just check a thing here real quick. A thing about stuff that I thought I linked to myself. Because while Ruby is definitely pops up and is surprised to see you, if perhaps happy as well. Does she have your ring?
She fucking pawned it already? Bitch!
I am actually not sure if she has your ring. And I had saved this earlier, and I am a little cheesed with myself that I didn't already have this tab open.
No big. Sorry if that caught you off guard.
No, it's fine. It's a valid course of action. And then I got to look at her like character to see what she is. Let's see. Nope, she has it.
Okay, thank God.
She has it.
Hi Ruby. I'm doing a quick trip to Brontha. I was wondering if I could have my ring back if it's still at the shrine, and she'll kind of peer over and see if it's exactly where she left it.
Okay. It is still on the shrine, though it has moved. It's not in the exact same position.
Is she letting me in the room?
Yeah. Yeah, she'll go ahead and let you into the room.
She'll go and pick it up. Does it look different or
feels the same? You can roll an investigation check if you want to do a close examination. 18. All right, now I need to pull up Ruby's character sheet.
I'm just curious if there's wax left over on the ring.
That's she doesn't have she doesn't have prestidigitation. I'm going to give her a roll to see how effectively she cleaned it off. And
I'm like clubbing with it.
There is not like chunks of wax, but a little bit of waxy residue. Not much.
She's gonna examine it and not kind of give off any facial expression, and she'll just kind of look over at Ruby to see if, just not say anything and see if she spills the beans.
Give me that insight check.
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
I'm checking to see, on a natural one, I'm checking to see if you have any nonsense in the queue, and I don't believe you do.
I need to save all this shit for later, so.
Oh, you have one, but it's for Garnet against boomer politicians.
What?
You've been given inspiration that can only be used against boomer politicians.
There's rage-spiration, but...
You do have rage-spiration.
I don't think I can beat a 16. I'm not feeling great about that. Okay, what does she say to that?
What did I forget? What did you say? Because
I just kind of looked at her. Did she say anything?
She's really, really glad that you're returning to the city after all this time. She's sure like you're going to receive an enormous welcome. It's going to be good for everybody to see you.
And I 100% know the ring got moved?
Yeah. The ring was like, it's still on the shrine, but it wasn't where you left it.
Did you rearrange your shrine? And what's this stuff on the ring?
Okay. Let's see. One of the Zalarian virtues is truth. So I'm going to have a roll this check with disadvantage.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Do I...
She, yes, she did some cleaning and burned some votive candles. These things are true. She did do these things, but her heart rate has increased.
So you got candle wax on my ring?
There's wax on there?
Yeah, look, and she hands it over.
I am so sorry. It should have been in the exact state that you gave it to me. I deeply apologize.
Can I look at the candles and see if they've been burnt?
Yeah, the candles have been burned down a little bit.
Is it the same color wax as the
no,
wax?
No, it is not.
Kind of shifts her eyes to the candle and shifts her eyes back at Ruby. Are you sure you got candle wax, or what is this?
Roll persuasion or intimidation, please.
I'm rolling like dog.
Okay.
Well, I got the codex and debate club die. Does that apply here?
Yeah, you could apply that here.
Let's see if I can make this better.
I'm hearing myself. Why am I hearing myself? I think it's
Oh, sorry.
All good.
Okay, fixed. Sorry, my thing broke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I got 12.
Yes, I would never, ever. Yes, that's exactly what happened. You left it in good hands. I promise you. She's earnest about that.
Okay. Is there anything on her desk that would be weird or sus or?
Mm-mm.
Well, do you have anything to clean this off?
Dubin, he's not here right now. He can do prestidigitation. I might be able to get a scroll just to take care of that for you.
That's okay. I'll just get it done while we gotta head out soon. Thanks for taking care of this.
Go with the Zalar's blessings.
She finds it weird that she's like stuttering through that and just kind of smiles, but isn't a smile, but in like the I know what you did last summer kind of smile. And we'll just quietly close the door behind her.
Okay. Ruby, the moment that you're out of sight, has a crisis of conscience, but doesn't act on it.
How could she?
I did the right thing. I did the right thing. I did the right thing. All right. What other preparations do you have?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. How are you on resources? Do you need a short rest or anything? I don't think there's been a fight. I think you should be pretty well topped up.
Let me open my character sheet up again. I think I have all my spell slots. Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. All right. Eventually, several hours later, Elnau knocks on your door.
Ready to go? Just opens it, ready to go.
When you open the door, she's with 6 wardens.
Is this necessary?
For your protection, yes. We already know that there are enemy agents in Brontha.
Did you get the gem?
She holds it up. Gem of Seeing, ready to go. Several sending scrolls, ready to go. Some other supplies. All the wardens are kitted out.
Okay.
I also wouldn't want your mother to think that we weren't taking care of your security.
That's a good point.
All right. Walk your way up back into the spire via flight. Another mage is going to take care of the teleportation circles so that nobody who's traveling has to burn any spell slots. It takes a minute or two to inscribe the circle that they received from Brontha. They had it on file. And ignite the magic. Blue light follows the chalk tracings on the ground and then casts shadows up onto the ceiling as it begins to power up. And finally, with one last look from Elnau, the whole thing flares into a cylinder of blue light. And the wardens will be the first to step through. The circle is open for one round, and as many people as can enter it can enter it. The wardens pop through. Elnau's going to go with you, right behind you.
Cool.
Right. There is a moment of weightlessness as you step through it. The wall of blue light hits you like an electric charge, and the ground drops out from under you. You're not falling, but your stomach still drifts up, and your hair floats for a moment, and it's very disorienting. And then just as suddenly, gravity reasserts itself, and you're standing on solid sandstone polished floor with the circle carved into it.
Oh, small thing. I would have made sure that my clothes were tidy and pressed. And
how are you dressed?
Probably gonna stick to IOTH Academy, like a uniform of, if it's a nice uniform, or else would find some nice, responsible student-looking outfit.
All right.
Everything pressed.
The gremlins are afoot, and they just took out one of my lights, and I'm going to evict them before they kill the stream, like happened during Crowan's one shot. Give me a sec.
Oh no! Showcat!
This one?
Ah, that's my favorite one. That's the little orange demon. That little Cheeto.
We got this one.
Ah, the little voidling.
And we got this one.
Aww. That one's like a mixed chocolate chip cookie dough looking one.
If I'm going to be so unprofessional as to have a cat crisis midstream, the least I can do is pay the tax. Professional streamer, by the way.
Catspiration.
Catspiration. Okay. You're in your IOTH Academy school robes, the blue robes. Everything's pressed and in good shape. You have 6 wardens with you. When you step out, you are on a pillar. Perhaps, well, or more like a round dais, probably 30 feet across, with a teleportation circle at its center. Around it, on all sides, is a drop-off. And in that drop-off is a wall of fire. Just rising up above. In the upper, whatever this dome-shaped structure is, there's a balcony up above with arrow slits all pointing down at the teleportation circle. And inside the circle are a group of Phoenix Knights, resplendent in their gilded armor, and led by a cleric. She's wearing the garb of not an elder, but definitely a flame keeper, a little bit higher up in the ranks. The symbol of Athalor, and she is in the middle of casting a spell. She's chanting and she has her eyes open. She's concentrating on something as you appear inside this circle.
Can I Arcana check the spell?
Yeah. Detect evil and good. That senses elementals, celestials, fiends, fae, and undead. You're going through security right now.
Okay, TSA real tight around here.
This is a potential access point into the city, and so it's under watch at almost all times. In fact, directly above you is an enormous stone circle hanging by a powerful chain, exactly wide enough to cover the teleportation circle. And you can see the winches that raise and lower it disappearing into the balcony. Something that they can use to cover and block the circle when it's not in use, preventing unauthorized transportation. The wardens all seem to have expected this. Elnau is just going to remain real still during this whole process. And when the priest is done, she is going to bow to you and call out "They are clean" in the primordial Ignan tongue. And at that word, the fire wall drops all around you. And they lower a drawbridge from the other side. And on the other side are more Phoenix Knights and Pevam.
We'll just start walking then and do a trying to stay looking very not visibly stressed, but hasn't been here in a while. And as she's starting to step through the bridge, would she have been on this bridge before?
There was never any reason for her to be in the teleportation circle room.
Okay. Well, I guess as she gets closer to Pavam, it's a very confusing feeling being back home with just kind of the void corruption and not really sure whether to be happy or stressed over the mission and sad over how this could have been the life that she was supposed to have. And I think her body at least is being able to react to being in Brontha again. So her heart rate will definitely be increased. And she'll be quiet, but she'll give like Pavam a small wave, like a subtle small wave as she's trying to look professional in front of everyone.
Let's see. He is doing his very best to look the part of the general's squire. Straight back, noble posture, sword at the ready, all that stuff. But he's also, his heart's going nuts under the armor plating, and he, when you give him that sort of little small smile, it flashes back to you as if it was there the whole time, and he just got permission to show it and then turn it off again. When you actually approach, he will give both of you a knightly bow and say, "Blessed child, Archmage Elnau, it is my honor to escort you to Calor's court as your guard of honor."
Nod and follow.
All right. The Phoenix Knights with him sort of fall in around the wardens, so that you've got these two. They're clearly here to escort you as well. But the vibe you're getting, roll an insight check for me. A 9.
So bad.
Yeah, you're kind of in your own head and also disconnected. It's like there's just a gap between you and everyone else right now after plunging yourself into the void and communing with Seosh and all that stuff. It's kind of hard for you to read these people or connect with them. And so you march out of the enormous doors that are lined with lead and covered in glyphs of warding and powerful protection spells on the inside. They're designed to fry anybody who tries to leave this room without permission. You recognize the holy sigil of Zalar. These were placed here not by wizards, but by clerics. These are holy runes of purification and the light of truth. But they're not active right now. And as the doors swing open...
Oh, before we get into the room, I think she'll start to freak out. And she'll, like, stop, and maybe... Is Pavam, like, in range? She'll, like, go to grab his hand, and then just, like, oh, well... And, like, grab kind of, like, the bend of his elbow. Oh, before we meet with her, could I just freshen up real quick? Maybe go see my room quickly? And she'll like look at Pavam and like, you know, that kind of stare that women give when they're like, you know, the wide eyes, like, get me the fuck out of here, like, look, but it's subtle and only to him.
Okay. Do a persuasion check for me, please.
Man,
Okay.
what the fuck?
Okay. Vivam stops for a moment and looks at the other guards, and tension, discomfort is writ across his face. The general has requested your immediate presence, blessed child. Should I send word to her that will be delayed?
And she'll be very disappointed and like in a sad way that he responded that way, and just lets go of his arm and just says, nah, never mind. And just kind of nods for him to keep walking then.
Okay. He does he read? Yeah, he reads that pretty quick, and he feels awful about it. Like he's still keeping a straight back, but you can tell he's forcing it a little bit more. He goes more into that automatic, I am a knight, I am a warrior trained, because he's got a grimace. He's not happy with how that went or what he did. But orders are orders. Yeah, you weren't rolling against Pivam. You were rolling against your mom to see who he was going to go with. Then, barring anything else, they are going to swing the doors open. It is night. The city of the sun looks very strange under the new moon. Very few clouds in the sky, the celestial lights playing overhead, and fires lit in every home, on every tower, on the 4 great temples. Ziggurats of red clay brick rising at the cardinal points of the city. And near the center of the city, a 5th ziggurat that is the light of which is still lit. One that was dedicated to you on the day and the miracle that saved them, their 5th temple. You remember briefly the ceremony at which they consecrated it, because that was the same day that you were betrothed to Pivam. And that was the last time you went there. Who knows how it's changed since then. The city is built around springs, which is what made people settle here in the first place. And even though it's out in the middle of the desert and it celebrates fire everywhere, there is water. An enormous river makes its way through the heart of the city. Everything's built around it. And at different points, amidst the red brick structures and the towers and the gold-capped symbols of the sun, you can see gardens and trees growing around the points where those springs emerge, and waterways carrying it all the way down throughout everything to the people. Brontha is a very vertical city. There's a lot of stairs. A lot of things are built in a stepped fashion. So they're going to go ahead and lead you. And roll a religion check for me, please.
I'm going to roll this in a hot sec. Where is that?
Okay. You're just getting rid of all the rolls right now. They continue to escort you, and perception now. 17. They are keeping very close around you. And they don't seem to be leading you through the main walkways and causeways. They're taking...
Is this not like in public? So this is not in like a public setting?
The teleportation circle wouldn't be too far. There are... that's reasonable. It would be very close to the heart of the city. It would actually be like in the middle of the barracks. So it would be all military. So instead of taking back roads and such, as you're going, every single door is closed and every single window is shuttered on the path that you're taking to Calor's court. And you see a few other guards, and their backs are turned. They're watching the other direction.
We'll kind of look at Elnow's expression, and I know it's kind of tense, and probably will whisper to her, like, what? No parade? And just, like, give a small giggle.
Maybe it's better this way. But it's strange.
Yeah. Just keep swallowing.
All right. They lead you through the enormous fortress citadel in the center of the city, down through some of the actual streets of Brontha towards a blue-roofed temple. A place that you'd been long ago, actually. Because this is not one of the 5 great temples of the city. This is a temple called Calor's Court. This is where the priest king and the council meet. It is a temple. It is sanctified to Athalor, but it's also the seat of worldly power. And they're going to stop along the way and pull into the side near the citadel and usher you through 2 portcullis into another chamber. And in that chamber, pacing nervously, is Marison Tosaka, your mother.
I think, like, right before we get to the door where I'm expected to see her, I think Garnet will, like, stop, like, freeze, and just stand still and, like, wide-eyed and just 404 air out, essentially. And won't move until prompted.
Okay. Hevom is going to be the first to move, actually. Are you well?
No. But I'm not sure what's wrong.
He looks at the Phoenix Knights around him and makes a brief gesture, which they pause for a moment before they move aside and give some space. The wardens immediately obey Elnow's command, and she's going to stay with you as all the guards in the room move to the edge of the room and back off. It's not real privacy, but it is some space at least. Pevom is just going to set a hand. He's going to take your hand if you'll let him. He's not wearing his gauntlet. He's wearing one gauntlet, but the other hand is off. No, he would take the gauntlet off and take your hand and just say, "What can I do to help?"
She'll look at him in the eyes and for a small moment doesn't say anything, and then isn't expressing any kind of worry or anger or happiness. It's just gonna look at him and ask, "Are you the real Pevom?" And she, in her head, like for you and I, she's asking if he's a mirror clone. But I don't think she just asked if that's the real one.
He pauses for a moment and then gently, slowly draws his sword, made from the spine of a flying serpent. And he's going to, with both of his hands, offer it to you.
Will take the sword, but is now showing confusion why he would do that.
Your name is inscribed on it. He named the sword after you. And he'll just give a yes. It's me.
Oh, that is a good point. Would I... It's cheating and making me sound smarter than I am.
You're 20 int. You can decide whether or not that would occur to you.
Okay. Would I notice if that is on a different hip than the one that I saw him last?
It's on the same hip.
We'll just take the sword and be confused and then hand it back to him in a hurry.
All right. He'll take it and then go ahead and sheathe it. And as he does so, you notice Elnau lifting the gem of seeing to her eye and just inspecting the room, lingering on Pavam for a moment. Gives everybody a once over. The Phoenix Knights like kind of look at her. The wardens pull a calm but tough act. And then she'll go ahead and put it down and give you a calm nod.
And she like has a big sigh of relief because she was worried for a second about Pavam and doesn't really know how to explain that whole moment, and obviously didn't choose the right words, but didn't really know how to ask if someone is a miracle and hasn't done so before. So she and gestures for him to keep going.
Okay. He stops for a moment, looking friendly but concerned. What else do you need? How can I help?
I haven't eaten.
Okay. Well, he just got a 23 to read you, so he's still on a good read. So she's missed you. She loves you more than anything in the world.
Yeah. I have too. Just it's a lot being here again.
Do you want to pray?
I don't want to get you in trouble for being late.
All right. I'll give you a moment, and Elle now kind of looks down her nose at him, and he's like looking to her for, do I have to get your approval for this? What's the situation? And she's giving him a shut up, kid. Look. And he'll go ahead and open the doors. The room beyond is relatively Spartan. There is a simple rug on the floor. There's a banner with a 4-pointed sign of Zalar on it. There's a small bowl of incense next to it that isn't lit. There's a little bench to sit on, just barely padded at all. There's a grindstone in here, some weapon polish. It's not a room that a general would take guests in. But nonetheless, she is in here. And she is not wearing her full armor. She's wearing kind of the leather tunic and stuff that you would wear underneath the plate to make it comfortable. And it's only partially buckled. And as soon as you enter, you can tell that she has just been sharpening the crap out of a sword. It's not her sword, to the point that it's like starting to wear thin, and it probably can't be used in combat anymore. And when you do enter, she is going to spring up to her feet and walk over to you and put either hand on your shoulders unless prevented, and then sort of lean down to look directly into your face as if she's checking your health.
Well, now her heart is probably going like 200 miles an hour, but she's trying to like have a normal like breathing rhythm, but is like not able to. So she's like, and is like kind of like gasping at some points to get extra air, and will just not know what to do, and then just slowly hand the folder to her mom with her grades and say, I've returned from IOTH Academy. This is wants to say Master Elnau, and then just says Archmage Elnau, and then introduces Elnau to Marisan, and with the titles and everything.
Marisan opens the folder to see like, what the hell did you just give me? Looks at you, hands it off to to Pavam, who like scrambles to take it, and then just goes in to crush you in an enormous hug, practically ignoring the Archmage.
is hugging her back, and as she's like giving it, she's like, I did it. It was about to explain something in the transcript, and then it just gets hugged and hugs silently.
She takes a few deep shuddering breaths and then goes back to one hand on either shoulder, tight, not like crushing you with stress and anger, but like holding you firmly and saying, are you okay? Are you well? We've heard so much about everything else that's been happening. Have you been safe? Are you feeling all right?
And she says safe, and she's like now like more visibly hyperventilating as she's like now I don't even know what she does. I guess she like is looking down, starting to hyperventilate more, and it now looks over at Elle now to basically talk on behalf of the issues or what's going on at IOTH Academy in a more graceful way than how she's gonna explain it. Basically, shit is hitting the fan, but she doesn't want to say that.
Okay. Elle now, rather than immediately just explaining the situation, is going to reach towards you as well. Sort of in a it's okay gesture and almost a hey, give her some space gesture. Roll an insight check for me, please. Okay. Marisol gives Elle now a look. It's hard for you to get the measure of the look, but that was a general of the army's face. That was a I've slain countless people in battle face. Not a I'm going to kill you face necessarily, but that was steel. The fire of warmth that she had for you a moment ago switches immediately to steel when Elle now moves in, and she does not budge. Elle now will assess the situation and pull her hand away, not flinching, not showing any signs of weakness. But something just passed between the two of them. Something that in your hyperventilating, worked up state, you can't totally make sense of.
I think she'll like, would I realize the 10? Oh yeah, I see the tension with the 12 insight, right?
Yeah.
I think she'll like now start holding her chest in like a I can't breathe sort of way, and has entered a sort of panic and will
panicking is a free action.
Yeah. I think she'll like bow her head quickly and say, if you'll excuse me real quick, the humidity, the air is different here. It's dry. And she'll just like 180 and walk out in a hurry.
Okay. The guards, the wardens, and the Phoenix Knights follow you.
She's walking down wherever they came from and like not sprinting, just a hurried power walking, and is holding her chest, trying to breathe, because I think her body is reacting to emotions that her mind isn't able to digest. So her body is
physiologically
entering panic attack mode.
Okay. Pevom is going to get off of his, like, kneeling before his general knees, and it takes him a moment to excuse himself from the situation and get permission or ask forgiveness. And he is going to give chase. And when he thinks he's out of, like, you're still moving and it's echoing around here, and there's two portcullis in the way, and the second portcullis, the outer portcullis, is now closed, blocking off your way.
She'll just stand, like, I don't know how far behind he is, but we'll get there, stand, turn around, look for some other, like, quiet room or something until she sees Pevom chasing, and we'll probably just wait for him to catch up.
All right. He is going to give the Phoenix Knights sort of an order, which he's the general squire, but he's still a squire. you see him saying something to all of them, and then he's saying something to the wardens. And then sort of, because he has to push his way physically through them. They're all grown-ups. He's a kid your age. He's going to finally push all the way through and get up and say, why don't we both get some air? Why don't we go to an old place that you used to like, huh?
Is just nodding, trying to breathe properly.
Okay.
But trying to, like, now she noticed, like, the panic from the wardens, the Phoenix Knights, and she's like, oh, fuck. She's, like, trying to, like, collect herself, and it's just, like, nodding.
And then he'll turn and say, give us 20 paces at least. None of them make any promises, as the wardens and the Phoenix Knights are both eyeing each other like, I don't work with you, and you don't work with me. But do any of us work for this kid? Nonetheless, he is able to get the portcullis drawn, and they're still following, but like slowly and several feet back. And he is going to lead you into the palace grounds.
And doesn't say a single word, just follows him. She's thinking a lot, so it like looks like the gears are turning if he cares to look.
He's not he's checking in on you, but he's not like asking anything. And eventually you find yourself in a back courtyard with a fountain. A fountain that I believe Pivam fell into when the two of you met for the first time. It's a small courtyard garden with walkways, you know, gallery walkways on all sides, tucked away in a little corner, but open to the sky. And he will offer you a seat on the fountain, which has like a lip around the edge of it. And then looks over at the guards and kind of gives them a gesture. And they're still there, but they're not immediately in your space.
She was like distressed, and when she sees the fountain, she kind of calms for a second and just smiles and looks at him like, oh, you brought me here kind of look. And once he gestures, we'll sit, and is now much more collected.
He's going to sit with you and wait for a bit. Just being there with you in his armor. Clank, clank.
And is like, takes a look at how many people are watching. I guess like Wardens, Phoenix Knights. I don't know if there's other people around.
It's just them. You know that there were servants back here and stuff, but they seem to have all cleared out.
It's just does feel very watched, but is at least this is more private and easy. So she's able to kind of collect herself, and after staying silent and trying to figure out exactly what she wants to say, she'll kind of so would you be marching on Bothotlo as well?
I go where Brontha goes.
And what do you think of the war?
I think that if someone tries to kill our general and weaken us, then we have to respond with strength.
And do I know about that proof? Like, I know they found
you
proof.
know
I don't
of
know.
it, but nobody at IOTH Academy has been told what the proof is.
Okay. Do you know what proof they have of Botholo's involvement and all that?
A captured assassin. Long after the battle. Was brought back here to Kalor's court. And the priest king invoked a truth seer, a Lamasu, who knows when a lie is spoken. And I was not in the room, but before the light of truth itself, the assassin declared that Bothotlo was in league with the destroyer.
Wow. And Brontha thinks they stand a chance against them while having the destroyers help?
It's our duty to stand against the Infernals and their minions wherever they can be found. Besides, we have the best general in the Sunswept lands, and the best armies, and the sun smiles on us.
You didn't say best squire. And she kind of smiles or smirks at him.
Usually that's not something they bring up when they're talking about an army. They tend to be more about the horses and the armor and not so much the understudy.
Oh man. I don't know. I thought I was ready to come back here and I don't feel ready. My body doesn't feel ready. I don't know how to process any of this, and to be honest with you, we're here to stop the war.
He puts his hands up together, sort of supporting his chin, one hand with a metal gauntlet on it, gilded with traces of gold, the other hand just his bare hand, giving this weird mismatched shape to it. Why is that?
Because there's just bigger fires in the world to deal with, and the Infernals took the Book of Dawn, and I don't know if you know about it, but it's an important item and has unlimited power. Well, limited, but that's our focus at IOTH, is getting that back. And we have information on where it is. And even if Bothotlo is in league with the Infernals, up north are bigger problems. And I feel like we need to come together as nations to fight together against the Infernals and not against each other.
You were always a lot smarter than me, Garnet. I don't really understand all these items of power and limitless potential and magic. But I do think you're right. I think all good people need to stand alongside each other. And that it's us against the cruel gods themselves.
Do you think she'll listen to me?
Give me an insight check, please. He hesitates for a moment. General Tosaka is the commander of all the warriors of Brontha. But she's not the one who decides when we go to war.
Why not?
Because she answers to the priest king himself.
They'll listen to her. She knows what to do best. She doesn't really know what to say.
It's a little more complicated than that. But I know that she missed you terribly and that you mean the world to her. So when you talk, she'll listen.
Have you seen any kind of suspicious activity around the council or anybody you know?
I only attend some of the meetings. I'm her squire, so sometimes I'm there to protect her and assist her, and other times I'm not. But I do know that she occasionally has less than pious words about them.
Well, IOTH Academy has sent representatives to Bothotlo here, Onderood. Everyone is in conflict right now, and we really just need to come together against the Infernals, and I think they're trying to put us against each other to weaken us. And I'm not really sure what I can do to convince them, and I can't even breathe in the same room as those women. This is not going to go well.
I know how much everybody's been worried about you and how much they care. And I mean, you told everything that I saw you do when the assassins attacked our camp. You're incredible. And I know that you have the strength, especially when you want something. You're very good at getting it. And if this is what you want, then I think you're going to find a way.
She'll kind of like shift her body towards him, and she hesitates because people are watching, but she'll take his hands and kind of like on his lap and say, it's costed me everything to get to where I am now, to look at you while still breathing, and I want you to find a woman that's perfect for you, and I don't want to hold you back.
This was not a topic of conversation that he expected. And for a moment, his expression is that of a man who has just been pushed backwards into the fountain in full armor, even though that's not what happened. He flusters for a moment and says, Oh,
were you not? I wasn't sure if the arrangement was still, and now is like embarrassed that she brought it up because she notices this plus. I just want you to find someone perfect.
Well, that is something I can worry about later, when we don't have wars and the forces of evil working against us, right? We don't have to worry about that.
Well, I'm just keeping your priorities straight so you don't have to worry about me. And yeah.
Why not?
War is messy, Pavam, and you're on the front lines.
Because it's my job to fight and protect Zalar's people and the home and the people that I love. That's the oath that I'm swearing. That's my calling. It's why I do what I do. It's why I petitioned the general to be her squire in the first place.
And your oath to me? And just looks at him.
I will fight to the ends of the earth for you.
Then I need help stopping this war, so neither of us need to die.
He starts talking, looks at you, changes direction. You can tell there's a thread that he decided to veer away from. Okay. If I I want to help you, but I have to understand first.
Understand what?
Well, I mean everything really. You've given me the map, but the map is not the territory. It's not enough to know that our enemies are in the field and to be told they're doing this, that. We need to know where they are and what their strategy is and what they can do so that we can counter it. So you say you think they're trying to turn us against each other. And
They already have.
And I believe you because you're brilliant. You always have been. But I need to understand how. And you're going to have to make them understand how they've been doing it. Because just being told that it's happening doesn't erase the Bronthan lives that were lost on that day. It doesn't take those things back. So I'm a warrior. Help me understand details. And Jen, you are excused from giving nitty-gritty strategic details if you don't want to. Your character remembers them. So it's up to you. You can just say that you explain things, or you can go into first person. It's your call.
Get away from that first and say that mirror clones have already infiltrated Brontha, and that's why we have the Gem of Seeing with us.
Okay.
The Mirror Keeper has people everywhere, and might even be the reason that Bothotlo are acting the way that they are. We've discovered that Kepesk, whatever title he is, has been a mirror clone for a long time, and the Mirror Keeper has been at work for a long time. And seems like you and my mom are clear, but I feel like Brontha should focus on clearing its own base of mirror clones, so that when you do plan something that they don't know it's already coming, they might already know that everything you're doing or planning to do against Bothotlo, and it's probably a trap.
Okay. I think that the ruling council is clear.
How do you know that?
Athalor's court is 1,000 times blessed by Zalar, and the priest king regularly invokes the light of truth and the power of the sun to reveal falsehoods. Day in, day out, they get exposed to so many of these blessings that I doubt they could remain hidden. If that gem can reveal them, they've probably all been exposed to something. Well, double check, but they're probably safe.
Do I Arcana roll to knowledge check how the blessings work with mirror magic? Doesn't mirror magic like bypass fucking everything?
It doesn't bypass true sight.
Yeah.
And
but are they using true sight?
Clerics can cast true sight. Pevom did not use those words. He also sucks at magic.
Well, we'll ask him to clarify if it was true sight or if it's just wards.
I mean, there's different wards, and when people are under oath, I don't know everything that they do. I'll be honest. And I don't know if the general would know. Maybe the magister, or obviously the priest king, or one of the flame keepers. But when they invoke the spells, no lie can be spoken. I know that.
I don't know if that'll be enough. I'll try to call a council meeting, since that's what it'll have to take to talk about the war and convincing them otherwise.
They've already called one.
Good. Hard part's done. Well, not really.
Yes, It's scheduled for noon tomorrow.
Would I be staying in Brontha out of character? Am I staying in Brontha for just a day, though?
They haven't specified. Nobody specified. Basically, you and Elnow and the Wardens just said, we need to stop this war. YOLO.
Oh, so there wasn't like, hey, we're planning on coming back that night. Well, I guess it's nighttime, so we're probably gonna stay. Are we staying?
It wasn't discussed.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Tomorrow. I feel like there's so much I have to tell you, and I don't even know if it's important right now.
It's important to me.
What's the angle of the guards on us? Are they like if I were to get up and like face Pavam, are they like behind me? Are they to the side?
If you stood up and faced Pavam, they would just be looking at your back.
Okay. We'll stand up and face Pavam then. And say, I think there's so much I have to tell you, and I don't think you'll accept me as me anymore. I don't think Brontha will accept me as me anymore, as this blessed child, and she will like push him into the fountain. But before he like hits the water, she'll like look like she's going to reach out, but she'll have a twilight tendril grab his hand, kind of wrap around his wrist to stop him from falling. But I guess to everyone behind her, it looks like she caught him. And she'll look down at the tendril and look back at him and say, and I don't want to lose any of you. And I know you won't understand. But I know you can keep a secret.
He nods. He hasn't said anything yet. His brow is furrowed. You can do insight to figure out exactly why. You can see emotion. You can see facial expressions without an insight check. Confused and concerned, not afraid or rejecting.
We'll slowly pull him enough so he's seating back again. And she'll smile back, kind of giggle quickly about like the memory of him falling before, and see that he's not sharing that in the moment. And I've been through a lot while being disappeared, and I did what I had to do to survive, Pavam, and I think you would have done that too. You would have done anything to protect people around you, the people you love. Anything, right?
I would die for them.
Would you turn your back on Zalar if it meant saving Brontha? Really anything?
Okay, now his brain is gears are grinding.
And she's not implying that she did. She's just like kind of pushing the subject.
No. Because I don't think that would save them.
I guess we don't know how everything ends. We just make the best decisions of what we think is right. Oh, speaking of decisions, I've just walked out on my mother. We should go. I'll just ask for your forgiveness later. Deal?
Deal.
And she meant the forgiveness thing, and at least the way she says it, it had multiple meanings to it. as her smile kind of like disappears from this moment they had at the fountain and
Mm-hmm.
turns to face the Phoenix Knights and Wardens, but waits for Pavam to lead.
Yeah. He'll go ahead and put back on his gauntlet and escort you back to them.
Follow them back to the room.
And all the way back you go, and you can hear, once you get back inside that long tunnel in the Citadel, you can hear they wait a little while, but they do drop that portcullis again when you're well past. And as you approach, you see a very, very long shadow cast upon the floor. Its wings not outstretched, but sort of perched at her back. And as you get closer, the slim silhouette of Master Elnau cuts through the light shown by the fire inside that room, as if it's emanating from your mother and being cut by the Archmage of the Academy. There are more Phoenix Knights on either side of the door, but they are not inside the door. A conversation is going on.
I'm just gonna like walk up to the door and just get a vibe check on the tension before going in.
Okay. Give me that insight check. Was that the 17 that just rolled or no?
No, that was
22. Okay. Elnau is cool. Perhaps cold. Is that a side effect of the exposure to the void she voluntarily underwent in order to stay close to you? Or is that simply a reaction to the general, who is white hot, sharp, and focused on her? You don't know if this conversation involved any raised voices, but it absolutely gives the impression of the general confronting, pushing on the Archmage, who has not yielded in the slightest. There is a great deal of tension in the room that isn't betrayed on Elnau's face at all. She turns back and says, Garnet, are you feeling well?
Well, goes to knock and stops and
the door's
just...
open.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
sorry. No, the door is open.
Oh, yeah. The not used to teleporting long distances and the air is different. Apologies. I feel better.
Marison gives Elnau one further look and then goes to you and says, you've been away from the desert air. It's good for your lungs. It'll do you good to breathe it back in. You'll get used to it.
Nods is gonna look at Elnau to see if she's okay or how the tension is.
She seems completely fine. Not bothered in the slightest.
Have you, speaking to Elnau, have you brought up the matter of why we're here?
We were getting there. I'm told that a meeting of the ruling council has already been called for noon. Is that right? Marison doesn't respond to her. She looks at you and nods. His Grace Pothinus, Priest King by Zaelar's might, has called for all of his advisors in the High Council to gather. They're going to hear from you and the Archmage in person.
Out of character, is this like one of them open council meetings or private ones?
She hasn't specified yet, but she'll go on to elaborate. It's going to be a closed meeting.
Okay.
The Archmage specifically requested it. Roll insight check for me, please.
Ooh.
Ah. Marisol isn't lying, but she's not saying everything.
About the meeting?
About the meeting being private. When she says the Archmage specifically requested it, she's leaving something out.
I think it's important for it to be private. We is looking around the room and is gonna try to say this subtly, quietly, but we have word there are spies within Brontha.
She looks grim and she nods.
Promise to tell you everything we know.
Of course. She gives you a worried smile. And then is lost for words for a moment, leaving a gap for you to talk.
Master, Archmage Elnow has taught me a lot at IOTH Academy. I thought she would be a good company to introduce you to.
Yes, I've heard she has.
Is that a strange thing for her to say? I wish.
There was something to that. What you heard that.
Is everything all right between you two?
The pause goes on a little bit longer than it should have. And Elnow will go ahead and break the silence and say, as head of state and your daughter's teacher, of course I'm honored to represent the Academy. And I'm sure tomorrow's meeting will be highly productive. Marisol.
And we'll kind of like, as Elnell is saying that, we'll just like, she'll smile and then point at her own smile and a gesture of, can you fucking smile a bit more? Like,
look to Elnow.
Yeah.
She like pauses for a moment as if, and then does one of those smiles that doesn't reach her eyes.
And we'll have the same mirrored smile and look at Marisol.
Looks between the two of you and, well, with all that out of the way, have you eaten? Have you rested? Are they taking proper care of you over there?
We'll blink because she probably did not eat that day, and we'll think. And she doesn't technically need to eat. And she doesn't want to lie because she, moms, they just know, right? If it wouldn't be too much trouble for a plate of something before bed. I missed dinner. I mean, I didn't have dinner. It just goes to lie and then does it. I didn't have dinner. I was thinking about today and was working. Sorry.
No, too much trouble. Please, you're my daughter. Come. And she is going to place her hand on your shoulder and rise to her full height and walk past Elnow and around the corner. And Elnow will follow to a small room, which has already been set up with tables, chairs, very comfy, and a Bronthan traditional cuisine feast. A very small feast for a very small number of people, but like palace food.
Is like force feeding herself and is not hungry, but is just gonna nibble on some stuff and
see. Sorry, go ahead.
And yeah, we'll just kind of look to see what the sleeping arrangements are, assuming that bed sleeping time will be soon.
Yeah. We have a room for you in the palace.
My room?
If you'd like.
Is it how I left it?
She nods and
And
kind of bites her lip for a moment.
where will Archmage El now stay?
We, of course, have proper housing for visiting dignitaries and heads of state. A fine room has been prepared in the palace as well.
How far is it from mine?
It's on the other side of the palace. We don't normally keep our own who we hold close too close to them just for safety. It's always been that way.
Yeah. Is going to be visibly uncomfortable by this, but we'll go along with it.
Okay. Dinner, you can tell Marison really wants to talk the entire time. Like, she's just super focused on you and happy to see you and worried about you. But every time that she goes to, like, ask a question, doesn't really get that far with it. As El now just sits there with, like, perfect table manners, just delicately taking tiny bites of the, it'd be rude not to eat the local food, but she's just, like, tiny little bites.
Is going to not eat, and then when everyone looks like they're about halfway done, she'll kind of realize she hasn't been eating and eats, and it's very quiet.
Elnau will push away from the table. Thank you, General, for your hospitality. I must see to my rest to prepare for tomorrow. She looks over at Garnet and doesn't say anything.
Well, as soon as she even looks, she's like already pushing off from the table, like she's like gonna follow her. And if I could be excused, I'm quite tired as well.
Of course. Did you have enough? Was everything all right? Did you miss anything? I don't know how they feed you there. Just let the staff know what you want to eat for your morning to break your fast. I'll see to it myself.
Thank you. And we'll just wait for El now to start walking, and we'll follow behind her, but then we'll not and stop and be like, oh, it's on the other way. And we'll look for a servant or somebody to guide her, because she kind of, I don't know if she would remember how to get there.
Marison will actually get up as she's like leaving and notice that you haven't left, and then offer to take you herself.
Oh, okay. Then we'll smile slightly and follow her.
Elnau will give a tilt of her head. Good night, Garnet.
Good night.
And she takes off. And once you get inside the palace proper, Marison dismisses the guards and the retinue, including Pevon, who gives you one last, I'm so glad you're home, and a smile, and goes back to polish his armor and take 50 minutes to disembark from everything. And so finally, for the first time, you and Marison are alone. And her demeanor changes significantly.
In what way?
She gives like a ugh and relaxes. She's still super tense, but like diplomat, I'm representing Brontha mode is way more gone than it was before. She's still somewhat guarded, but like she just switched to when you're off the job and you can diss all your coworkers mode.
I think Garnet will still be tense and quiet. Not really make much small talk during the walk. She's assuming, like, getting ready to be questioned as moms do when they haven't seen people in a while, expecting questions.
How long can you stay?
I guess until the matter is resolved. We're still in the... She thinks for a second about what normal school is. and how it doesn't feel like normal school, and says, the semester is still ongoing.
After all the disasters that I've heard of, they're still just running things as usual, business as usual. They have you taking tests and quizzes and such when your very lives are on the line.
Yeah, we've been excused from some deadlines.
Well, you're not lying.
That's, well, the part of leaving some stuff out is, I guess, the rule.
Yeah. All right. She grumbles to herself, not at you, but she grumbles to herself and shakes her head. I had everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
I think, but while she grumbles, she'll say, I really like it there. Not more than, not that I'd rather, I just like it there. I'm learning a lot.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure you are. Garnet, are you under duress?
What?
Are you being held against your will? You can tell me. We're safe here.
No.
After all the news that's come out of that school and how much you're struggling right now, how much you're hurting right now, they're not forcing you to stay there, right? And they're not harming you there.
No, I'm choosing to be there to help and protect the people there.
Mm-hmm. How?
With magic, I guess?
Yes. With magic.
Did you not want me to learn magic? Did you want me to be a warrior or general like you?
At that point, you arrive at the room, and she will open the door for you. The matter is, she's not blowing you off. The matter is not done. This is simply where the momentum of the trip has taken her. And when you look inside, it's like stepping back into your old life. Except you can tell that all of the sheets, the curtains, the decor, everything that might have dulled or rotted away or worn with time has been replaced or cleaned impeccably. So all the silks and the cloths are new, but identical to the last time that you saw this place.
Takes like a deep breath, looking around, and stops at the front, and is like following her mom if she were to go in or whatever. But
yeah, she's gonna go in.
Takes a second to take in the room and follows her in.
All right. She, distracted for a moment, looks around and do another insight check, which is going to be the theme of the night. 17 is trying not to cry. And she's looking at you, just kind of gauging your reaction. At the room, not at her.
Right. I think she wants to cry too, but doesn't know how. And I think there's like a confused, like sad, but lots of thinking looking face right now as she looks up to her mom and doesn't know what to say.
There's something she really, really wants to say, but doesn't want to say at the same time. There's two different sentences fighting. And at the end, the one that wins is the one that combines who she is. Garnet's mother and the General of Brontha. as she can't hold it back any longer, she is going to look dead into your eyes and say, Garnet, what dark magic is that woman teaching you? Which is obviously where we go to our break. We'll be back in a few moments, folks.
I'm getting grilled.
Go anywhere. Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy will return.